Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show where I try to be like Bob Ross, but I have a weird brain, so it comes out all wrong. Today, I decided that I was going to draw the space caterpillar because yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I did a pen review and it had a space caterpillar drawing in it, but it kind of looked like a big old schlong or something. So today we're going much more caterpillar-y. Caterpillar-y? Yeah, sounds good. And I'm making him like a giant caterpillar. Here I'm sketching it in pencil. And I'm giving him a sort of a Death Star thing. Some sort of space attachments. I'm still drawing the caterpillar here, but the big round thing is the space attachments. I'll start at, yeah, here we go. I'm starting on that. It's a big sphere. I kind of drew like a wireframe on it. Now I'm adding all the greeblies, the gibbets, the bits, the good stuff. And I'm doing a lot of pencil work on this one. I was feeling not only caterpillar-y, but also pencil-y today, so I spent a little extra time on the pencil. I think it paid off. It looks nice. You'll see in the end. Here I'm adding a bunch of little tubes to the edge. I wanted them coming out of that frame that I drew on the page to kind of make it more three-dimensional. This tube in the center of the sphere here, too, was way out of perspective. I didn't mean to draw it that way. It just kind of turned out that way. I actually correct it later by, you'll see, I'll draw like kind of a concave in the front of the sphere there for it to kind of sit into. It actually ends up looking really cool. I'm glad I handled it that way. It was kind of a happy accident, as Bob would say. And here I'm giving him his caterpillar assault cannon. I was kind of imagining him like a giant, I don't know, caterpillar Death Star sort of thing. I don't know. Maybe I'll make that the title. Caterpillar Death Star. Space caterpillar. So I decided to start with the extra fine nib. This has Noodler's black in it, which is customary. And the reason I started with the extra fine instead of the fine is because it's very intricate, small details. I wanted to go in with a thinner line first so I didn't lose any of the detail, trying to outline it with like something thicker like the fine nib. So coming through, outlining all the gibbets to start, giving him his little caterpillar feet. I was imagining him like being the size of a planet, you know, like the sphere of tech is almost like a Dyson sphere or something. It's kind of what I was imagining him, like a Death Star. And then he just kind of grabs a hold of it and rides it around. And he's also plugged into it. You'll see there's lots of little wires like poking into him and all sorts of stuff like that. I really love drawing these sort of spacecraft creature combinations. It's hard for me to come up with thumbnails that are, you know, like not clickbait, but like the good clickbait, you know, where it's entices people to click on it. Because like some of the ideas I have are a little out there. So, you know, sometimes I'm like, oh, I want to draw, you know, an alien frogman sitting on a, I don't know, fungus dinosaur thing. And like, how do you put that into a thumbnail that is good for YouTube, right? So maybe I'll figure it out someday. Yeah, here I'm going through doing this is all the contour lining. I don't think I really do any hatching in this first pass. I'll start on the hatching after I get the whole thing lined out. And I just keep it single pass hatching on this, where I kind of go through and just hatch in the shadows and leave negative space. I think it's kind of Mobius looking type stuff, so that's how I like to do it. It also, I seem to have an easier time keeping that under control. When I start venturing into cross hatching and stuff, it tends to get a little too dark sometimes, and I have regrets about halfway through the drawing. I was having a lot of fun drawing his little face and like I guess they're like kind of like little armor plates or whatever, the sort of hard parts. And I gave him a bunch of weird eyeballs for whatever reason. He's a space caterpillar. He can have all kinds of eyeballs. I mean, he has a gun, so I don't think it's actually a gun. It just kind of ended up looking like a gun. It almost looks like a revolver upside down there, like in relation to him, at least partially, or like a flare gun or something. He is Caterpillar, Destroyer of Worlds. It'd be cool, a cool bad guy for a comic or something. Maybe I'll keep him in my repertoire. Yeah, you can see here, this is where I'm hatching right now. Is I kind of made that indent to take care of the perspective problem there. And I'm happy I did it that way. I think it looks really cool. It's the stuff like that why I like doodling and kind of keeping my drawings, you know, not too structured, not too planned out, is because I end up learning a lot from stuff like that. Like I can, now that I have drawn that way, it's kind of in my mental library, you know, from now on. So I can recreate that. And that's just, you know, that's what all this stuff is. It's just little bits added to the mental library over time. And it just comes from drawing a lot and practicing and, you know, also knowing how to spot stuff like that and then learn from it, I think is important. And I don't think it's like a talent or anything. I think anybody can do it. You just have to be, it's one of those things you have to be aware of, right? Like be aware of it while you're drawing, and then you can spot little happy accidents and then, you know, take that and use it in a future drawing intentionally, even. So, yeah, and like I said, I'm doing the single pass hatching. I'm just coming through light sources from above somewhere. I think I was imagining just directly above or above and to the left slightly. And I'm coming through hatching in all of his little fat rolls and his greeblies and, you know, the tech bits and all that stuff. It got a little out of control right in there, but I used a little bit of stippling and fine tuning and kind of got it where I wanted it. I try to do these pretty much all in one shot, so I don't really take very long breaks typically. And sometimes that comes to, you know, it ends up biting me in the ass, because I will start making mistakes and stuff because I didn't take long enough of a break, you know. But such are the trials and tribulations of YouTube video making. Trying to get this stuff out expediently. Is that a word? Expedient? That sounds like a word. I don't know. If it isn't, it is now. Expediently. Here I'm coming through with the fine nib and emphasizing details. Sometimes I'll just do like a peripheral line with this, but sometimes more recently I've started picking out little details, even in the, it's almost like the peripheral lines of different pieces of the drawing, I guess is how I approach it. And it just adds definition to parts that, where it needs definition. I think this is a good approach to get kind of, it gives it an interesting look, right? It's you're not starting with the outline, you're starting with the shading. It's kind of like the same as, if you do a watercolor painting or something like that, and you start with the color instead of starting with the outline. Kind of that idea. Kind of. Yeah, then here I'm lining in the border. And I decided to do some lines, some parallel lines for the background. I was halfway tempted to do the sort of like retro background like I did in the TV Death Machine video, but I ended up just doing the same width on all the lines all the way across. I didn't think the retro background really fit the, I don't think it would have looked bad. It just didn't really fit the theme of the drawing, so I didn't want to, I don't know. I don't know why I didn't want to do that, but I didn't want to. Yeah, here it's just little parallel lines, trying to keep a gap in between them. If you look at them up close, they're kind of wobbly, so if you're trying to replicate the same thing, don't worry about it. Just let the wobbles be. What's it called? Wabi sabi. Just live with the wobbles. Become one with the wobbles. That's my philosophy. Yeah, I think it gave it a little more dimension than it had before. Made that frame kind of become a frame, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm out of words. I'm out of juice here. Anyways, that's about done there. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you to my patrons on Patreon, and I will see you all in the next video. All right. Bye-bye.